I was 26 years old and as single as a man could be. I had no ex-wife, no children, and lived at home with my parents. I had never been out of the UK before, and after months of persuasion, my work colleague convinced me to join him on a trip to Bangkok. It's not that I did not want to visit Thailand. The place looked amazing. I was just scared of flying so far, especially for my first time. I was earning very good money at the time, did not have a girl to spend it on or much bills to pay. The perfect newbie for Thailand, you may think. Just a quick little background of me and my past. I was never the popular kid at school and went through a lot of bullying. This caused me to lack a lot of confidence, and I had never been good with the ladies. I was always led to believe that I wasn't good enough for Western ladies, or any lady for that matter. I did not have much of an exciting life with the ladies, if you get what I mean, apart from the paid encounter here and there. My colleague that I was travelling to Thailand with was 58 years old and had been going to Thailand since the early 90s. He had been about 25 times when I made my first trip. Even though he was a lot older than me, he was still young at heart, and Thailand made him feel even younger. He had a lot of experience in the bar scene, especially with the ladies, and he was a fun guy to drink with. It was good having someone like him on my first trip. I was able to trust him to show me around the places that he knew. We left for our 2-week trip to Bangkok in June, and what an experience this was. I was excited and overwhelmed during the whole journey, asking my friend a million questions about Thailand. I knew it was hot in Thailand, but I was not prepared for the way the hot, humid air hit me when we stepped outside of the terminal. I am sure you all remember the first time you arrived in Thailand and the complete disbelief at how different the country is. The whole taxi ride to the hotel close to Soi 11, I was just looking out of the window and taking everything in. There is stuff going on all over the place, people and traffic everywhere. The smell from the street food vendors, it was all very fascinating. We soon got to the hotel, and although I was tired from the flight, I was buzzing and couldn't wait to get out there. We wasted no time getting dressed up and sorted for the first drink of the night, and the first drink in Thailand for me. It wasn't too late, so the night was just beginning. My friend suggested us going to Soi 4, grabbing some street food, and then go drinking at the bars there. I was a bit peckish, so off we went, walking up Sukhumvit Road, just taking in all the surroundings. I was amazed. We got on to Soi 4, walked past the area where all the bars and Nana Plaza was, until we came to a bunch of street food vendors. I got a bunch of sausage balls on a stick with green chilies. It was delicious. Definitely a snack that would be destroyed after a drunk session. I was just hoping I did not get food poisoning, as that would really put a downer on my first and short trip to this amazing country. After we had eaten, it was time to have a dabble in the scene that I have heard so much about. We went to an Irish bar to start with. It was located pretty much in the middle of Soi 4. We was only sat at the table for a couple of minutes before 2 beautiful freelancers joined us and brought our drinks to us. One sat with my friend and the other sat with me. She was very touchy and flirting with me. This was amazing, and the attention was very much welcome. Remember, I had not had much luck with the ladies all my life, so to me this was fantastic and a completely new experience. We was only 2 drinks in and I couldn't take it anymore. The things she was saying to me was driving me crazy and I was about to burst. I said to my friend, let's take these back. He also had the same thing in mind. The girls agreed, we jumped in a taxi and went back to the hotel, which was only a couple of minutes. We could have actually walked it. After we had done the deed, the night was still young and my friend wanted to show me Nana Plaza. His freelancer left us but mine asked if she could join us going to Nana Plaza. It was fine with me, so we all entered this complex together. Throughout the night, this girl had been practically begging to stay with me at the hotel overnight. So at what I thought was the end of the night, we all went back and me and the freelancer headed to my room. When we got back to the room, the freelancer was so energetic and would not stop talking. I don't mean she was in a drunken state, I mean she was clearly hyperactive, as if she had something wrong with her. I did not mind, as I was there to have fun also, but because of the long flight, the jet lag, lack of good food, and a belly full of beer, I just wanted to sleep. She kept going on and on about going back out again to party some more. She wouldn't take no for an answer. It was my first night in Bangkok, and she knew it. She was able to take advantage of this, seeing how naive I was. I found myself back out again and walking down Sukhumvit Road with this Looney Tune freelancer. She took me onto a bar on Soi 7/1 where she knew all of the girls in there. I sat at the bar with no energy whatsoever, but still managed to sink 2 beers, to which she also had 2. When it was time to pay, I realised that she had lady drinks. That's why she wanted to take me there. She would be getting a little commission. Sneaky little devil. Anyway, after 2 drinks, it really was the end of the night for me. I told her I wanted to go home, but she was begging me to stay. I explained that she is more than welcome to stay, but I must go back. She gave in and followed me home. If I'm honest, I would have much preferred her to stay in the bar and leave me be. We got back to the room, and after I put my belongings and cash in the safe, I pretty much passed out without any bedroom fun. This girl was so annoying. While I was asleep, she woke me up to complain that I had taken most of the bed covers, and if I did not give her some, then she would leave. I was tempted to kick her out there and then. All the events that happened that night, and the way she had been acting, completely turned me off her, and I knew I wouldn't be sticking around for round 2. I made a schoolboy error and gave her my number when we first met. So the morning after, when I paid her and she left, she would constantly be calling me and texting me, asking me to go out with her again. No thanks, blocked. The next few days and nights, we went to Kawasan Road, Pat Pong, and a night market that had lots of beer stores. We also had a lot of female company every night. It was the 4th night, and we went out for our usual drinking session after having dinner. My friend suggested we head to a certain bar on Soi Cowboy that he had been to on previous trips before. I had never been to Soi Cowboy yet, I only heard about it, so I was happy to go check it out as it's all great fun and everything is still new to me. Halfway down Sukhumvit Road, heading towards Soi Cowboy, the heavens opened up. I don't know if you have ever experienced Bangkok rain before, but it comes out of nowhere and it absolutely gushes it down. When we finally got to Soi Cowboy, we was absolutely drenched, soaking wet through. We quickly ran through the Soi before taking shelter in the bar that my friend suggested. When we entered the bar, we were greeted by about 4 or 5 beauties that took us to a table and sat with us. We ordered drinks, and one of the girls took my fancy. She noticed that I was paying her a lot more attention, so she got closer to me, giving me a massage as we drank and chatted. I found out her name was Beam. Me and my friend was discussing on where to go next. Again, we landed on Nana Plaza. We drank up, and as we was about to leave, I asked Beam if I could pay her bar fine and bring her with me if she was up for it, to which she was. I paid the tab, and Beam and her friend joined us. I did not pay for her friend's bar fine, by the way, and I'm not even sure if my friend did or not. I think her friend was just along for the ride, or did not work in the bar. That night was something else. It was one of the best nights so far. We all got along really good. Beam's friend and my friend hit it off also. Lots of kissing and drinking throughout the night. Beam was really fun to be around, and she had better English than most other bar girls that I had come in contact with. Just her speaking English made the night better because we were able to laugh and joke with each other. I asked her if she would like to spend the night with me, and after we discussed the price, we headed back to the hotel together. That night was perfect. Spending the whole night together, having bedroom fun. She was an expert and she knew it. Absolutely unreal. The morning after, me and my friend had planned to go to Pattaya for 5 nights before returning to Bangkok for our final night. I told this to Beam, and I got the feeling that she wanted to join, so I asked her if she would like to come, and she agreed. She did explain to me, though, that I would have to pay the bar fine for the nights that she will be with me in Pattaya. I really enjoyed our night together and wanted more of that, so I agreed, and off we went to the bar so Beam could pack and I could pay the bar fines. I got chatting with the mama-san while Beam was packing, and she gave me a deal on the bar fines. I'm not sure if this is a normal thing that bars did, but she told me that if I paid X amount of baht, that would cover the bar fines for taking her to Pattaya and any other future bar fines should I return. I can't remember the exact amount that was offered, but I remember thinking it was a great and cheaper deal, so I took the offer. So with everything packed and me being squeezed out of as much baht as possible from the bar, it was time for me, Beam, and my friend to get a taxi and head for part 2 of my trip, Pattaya. In the taxi to Pattaya, that is where the holiday girlfriend experience kicked in. She was holding my hand, kissing me, and acting like we was in a relationship. I was on cloud 9 and loving every second of it. It was sad to leave Pattaya after 5 great days with my holiday girlfriend, but it was time to head back to Bangkok. Beam went back to the bar. I told her I would probably come and see her later, but I needed to go to the hotel and rest for a bit. She gave me a kiss and said goodbye. I was lying on my bed thinking about the trip, and the reality kicked in that I would be leaving to go back home soon. People that go to Thailand on a regular basis must hate this feeling, where the departure date is creeping up on you. I was thinking, after meeting Beam, a beautiful Thai woman, how can I go back to my boring single life living with my parents? I was hooked on Beam and the attention that she had been giving me. I did not want it to end. Me and my friend was chatting that night, and I asked him what he thought about me bringing Beam back with me. He laughed because he had heard it all before. New guy goes to Thailand, gets introduced to the nightlife, falls head over heels for a bar girl, and wants a future with her. The night before leaving, I bar-fined Beam and we went straight back to my hotel. There was no bedroom fun that night. I think we both realised it was almost time to say our goodbyes, so we just cuddled on the bed, holding each other tightly. I asked her if she would like to come to the airport with me the next day to see me off. Not sure if this was a good idea or not, but she came along. It was a sad time for me. I did actually have to fight back my emotions in front of Beam and my friend. We said our goodbyes to each other and promised to keep in touch before having one final kiss. Beam had probably played this scene out many times before, a bar girl taking their customer to the airport before going on their separate ways. Landing back in the UK was a horrible feeling. I had 100% been bitten by the Thailand bug. I was addicted, and my life back home just didn't cut it anymore. I did not look at UK girls the same. The food wasn't as nice, the weather was terrible, and the nightlife doesn't even compare. I had to do something. Me and Beam was keeping in touch by messenger, and I started organising another trip to Thailand. I did slowly tell my parents about Beam, and that she was a Thai girl I had met on holiday. They reacted exactly the way you would imagine, with a lot of skepticism and doubt about her intentions, which I fully understand, but they did not realise how Beam made me feel as a person. Nobody had ever made me feel special before. Because I was saving up for the next trip to see Beam, I could not exactly support her, so we agreed mutually that she would carry on working at the bar and go with customers. Obviously, that is not an ideal arrangement for me. Of course, I did not want her meeting other customers, but I just did not have the funds to support her. On the other hand, this gave me a chance to see if she was genuinely interested in a relationship or just stringing me along to make me a sponsor in the long run. I just had to grin and bear the current situation that we was in until we could work something out where she gets a normal job and maybe I can support her with extra money. During this time, we had been discussing marriage, visas and relocating. Beam was just as keen as I was about her relocating to the UK in the future to start our life together. So I started looking around online for someone who knows a thing or two about marriage visas for the UK. I came across an agency that offered the whole package with translation included. Once I reached out and emailed them about our situation, they quickly followed up saying they could certainly help us out. I had to send them as many documents as possible and proof that me and Beam was in a relationship. We got as much as we could and sent it to them. The following October, I was back on a flight to Thailand, this time flying solo. This was only my second time flying out of the UK, but it was the first time I was flying alone. I was a little worried because I did not have a Thailand expert with me this time, so if anything went wrong, then I would be all alone. Knowing I was going to see Beam though, made the worrying trip totally worth it. Checked into the hotel and it was not long before I was heading back to Beam's bar on Soi Cowboy. As I got closer to the bar, I saw all the girls sat outside with their face in Thai food until they noticed me walking and started smiling. Beam ran up to me and jumped into my arms, with girls from surrounding bars cheering and screaming. It was a little embarrassing, but such a great moment also. Feeling her in my arms and being able to kiss her again was amazing. We had discussed travelling to Isan so that I could meet Beam's family. So after a couple of days in Bangkok and the bar fines paid, we headed to Beam's home village. I have heard other people on this channel describe Isan and I completely agree with them. It's an absolutely amazing and eye-opening place. Going from Bangkok to anywhere in Isan, it's like a completely new country. The visa agency told me to take as many pictures of me and Beam as possible, and if I can, pictures with her family also. So that's what I did. I took way more photos than I probably should have, and Beam kept reminding me, when we are together, no touching or kissing. When we were back in Bangkok and had some time alone at the hotel, I questioned Beam again if she still wanted to get engaged and wanted a future with me in the UK. She said yes straight away, and I believe this is what she really wanted. So with that set, and us both 100% sure what we want, I realised I had a lot of work to do. Yet another sad goodbye at the airport and off I flew back to reality again. Speaking with the agency guy about the documents, he said it would really help if Beam had a mainstream job where her pay was deposited into her bank so she could show proof. I told him that she worked in a bar. He chuckled and said he understood. So I made the decision to actually start supporting Beam as I wanted the best chance of getting a visa as possible. We agreed that she would find a different job that is not related to bar work, and I would send her money to make up for what she would have been making, as we knew she would not be able to get a job that paid the same as the bar. She moved to Onut in Bangkok, got a very small apartment and took a job in a restaurant close to her. She was able to get a contract from the restaurant outlining her job, income, and any other information. With this contract, we sent it to the visa agency to help with the application. She was actually enjoying her new job. She said it was refreshing that customers was not hitting on her, and she started to make friends there, collecting all her wage slips for the visa application and saving whatever money we can. Meanwhile, we kept in constant contact with messages and phone calls. It was hard work collecting everything for the application. I got bank statements, chat logs, photos, wage slips, work contracts, phone logs, and whatever else I could get my hands on. It's really not a simple process, but I guess that's for the best really. It had been around 5 months now since I saw Beam, so in March I booked another trip, this time for 2 weeks in Bangkok. Before arriving in Bangkok, I had been in talks with the agency, and it seemed that I had everything I needed to have ready for the application to be submitted. His office was located in Pattaya, so me and Beam took a trip there to give him all the original documents and exchange paperwork. He said he would put the application together because he was in Bangkok in a couple of days and could meet me with it. Just 2 days later, we met again in Bangkok, and he gave me a binder and the finished application with all the documents inside ready for me to submit. He then gave me the location of the building to take the application. He warned me not to talk to anyone and just head straight to the office, he said. When I asked him if he could come with me, he stressed that he does not like to go there too often because the government are not exactly fans of visa agencies in Thailand, and he did not want the staff there to know how many applications go through his office. I did not know this information about agencies being frowned upon, and it made me a little worried, but he assured me that nobody would know I have used an agency. Once I went and submitted the application, it was now time to play the waiting game and wait for Beam to have her interview. Everything was starting to feel real now. The rest of the 2-week trip went by and no phone call was made to Beam. I asked my agency guy, and he said it can take a lot of time for them to reach out to her for the interview, and not to worry. Again, it was time to go back to sunny UK. And then, 1 week, everything changed. During the afternoon one day, Beam called me saying that she had her phone interview and they seriously grilled her, but she kept her cool and answered all the questions. They asked her things about me, about the city I live, my birthday, my work life, and my family. She knew all of this information and said she answered whatever she could. She was confident, but the doubt still lingered in my mind. Then, just 2 days later, while I was at work, I got a message from Beam, visa approved. I was so relieved that morning at work. It felt like a ton of bricks had been lifted off me. I just couldn't wait to finish work so I could get home and start arranging for Beam to come to the UK. I sent Beam the money so she could buy the ticket from Bangkok. For some reason, the one-way ticket was a lot more than my return ticket to Thailand. I was able to book a flight to Bangkok for a week before me and Beam would fly back to the UK together, so she would not be alone. I booked the same hotel I had on the first trip and requested the room I had when we first met. Luckily, they granted my request. Beam checked in before I got there, and on my arrival, I checked in, knocked on the door, and again we held each other so tight. That week was both stressful and exciting, getting everything ready for her departure to the UK to start our life together. We had come so far already. It's crazy how everything was falling into place. We went to Beam's old bar where we met, so we could have a few beers, tell her friends the news, and we had a great night there. We ended up pretty drunk that night and pretty much passed out when we got back to the hotel. The time came for me to head back to the airport, but this time I wasn't going to be leaving alone. A handful of Beam's close friends joined us at the airport to see her off, and a few tears were shed and lots of hugging. Also, a couple of warnings was passed on to me about looking after her and what would happen if I didn't. Because I had no holidays left at work, I still had to work full time. I did not want Beam to be alone, so we lived with my parents for the first few months while she got used to the new country and the new life. We did not get married straight away because I wanted to give Beam time to see if she actually liked living in the UK. I gave her the time to back out if she really wanted. But after 5 months, Beam was still happy and determined this is the future she wanted, and wanted it with me. We had been saving money for quite a while, so after looking at a few places, we finally moved into our own flat. It was like a dream come true. We were so happy when we moved into the flat together, and the wedding had been planned for the following month. Obviously, we had spent a lot with sorting out the visas, flying to Bangkok, moving into our new place, and buying whatever we needed for the apartment. So we was not exactly rich and could not afford a lavish wedding. So we just booked the registry office and had a reception at the back of our local with a few friends and family. We used gold rings that we had purchased from Thailand on previous trips, and just like that, we were now husband and wife. It was really surreal. We later discovered that our downstairs neighbour was also a Thailand veteran visitor. I used to sit outside the apartment building to smoke, and one day he came home with a large suitcase saying he just arrived back from Thailand. He was telling me about his trip and what he got up to. He told me he met a girl on Soi 6 in Pattaya and was interested in bringing her back to the UK as well. I have learnt a lot from my first trip to Thailand, and I know that Soi 6 in Pattaya probably does not have the type of girls you would want to bring back to your country. But who am I to judge? I married a girl from Soi Cowboy, so I did not say anything to him. A great friendship started from that point. He did end up marrying a Thai girl, not the one from Soi 6, but another one he met on a different trip. I helped him out with the visa paperwork. She would come over and visit him. She was similar age to my wife, so they hit it off really good. It was great because when I was out to work, Beam had a new Thai friend to keep her company if she wished. After we got married, we finally got a 2-year visa which granted Beam the right to work in the UK. She found a job quicker than we expected. She became a receptionist at a hotel close by to us and still works there to this day. She is on minimum wage, but she still can't believe she gets paid that much an hour. That's pretty cute, and the extra income has really helped us out a lot. Later, Beam was given permanent residence in the UK, and in April the same year, she became a British citizen. The following year, we had another blessing. Beam fell pregnant. 9 months later, we was introduced to our healthy baby boy, and life had just got even better. Half Thai, half English, he is a beauty. I decided to share my story because of the other stories out there. My aim was not to invalidate all the advice given about bar-girl relationships. That is still very correct, and I agree that most of the time it's risky business and will end up in heartbreak and tears. Everyone is different, including bar girls, and if you are a good judge of character, you can weed out the good from the bad. You will know yourself if she is a good girl. I can't explain it. You will just know deep down inside that she is the one. When I first went to Thailand, it was just because my friend had asked me to join. I wanted to be a bit of a butterfly after the first night and have fun with girls. I did not want to meet anyone, but could I have risked throwing away such a lovely girl? I did not want to meet anyone, but when I walked into that bar that day, my life changed.